on a second. Okay. Hi, my name is Tsuruaki Yukawa. I am a tech journalist in Japan. And today we have a great guest, Dr. Jeffery A.Martin, who is a founder of TransTech Transformative Technology Conference, also to Transformative Technology Lab. And God, this is a great person. I'm really excited. Okay, this year I attended the Transformative Conference and I missed your presentation. Oh, but by the way, hi Jeffrey, how are you?
Hi, it's great to see you as always.
Thank you for being with us. And this year, yeah, I missed your presentation. And your presentation is one of the main reasons I attend Transformative Technology Conference. Why is that? I heard there's a glitch in scheduling.
Yeah, there was a glitch in the scheduling on day 2. So let's just cancel my talk. I basically, self-sacrificed. It was rather than cutting somebody else out of the schedule.
What do you mean by transformative technology? And I understand it's the technology to help you get into an alternate state of mind, which is in Japanese satori, in English I don't know, awakening, or PNSE, persistent non-symbolic experience, which is a psychology term, right?
It is, yep. And there's hundreds of these terms worldwide, obviously, in all kinds of different cultures. We've cataloged close to 300 of them at this point.
Okay. What is this technology does to help you get into alternate state of mind? Which alternate state of mind? Because in meditation, I would say there's 2 states of mind, which is like concentration state. And Vipassana method, people call it samatha. And also second alternative state is mindfulness state, and which is Vipassana. And which state of mind does this technology, your technology, help people get into?
Well, that's a great question. The short answer to that is that we can get people into lots of different states of mind because we're basically able to stimulate anywhere that we want in the brain using this technology. And so one of the things that you'll see from this technology over time is that there are probably going to be thousands of different applications. It's going to cure and take care of things like epilepsy, Parkinson's. It's flushing the brains of Alzheimer's patients, right now. It's waking people up from comas. And we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. And the reality is that this technology is like a Swiss Army knife like that. You can just reach in, stimulate whatever part of the brain that you want. What we stimulate relates to exactly the type of thing that you're talking about, which is sort of an ongoing Satori type of experience, whether you call it enlightenment or non-duality or persistent mystical experience or the peace that passeth understanding or whatever. It's that fundamental shift to deep inner peace at a very foundational level in a person. And that's the only thing we work on. That's the only thing we're really interested in. However, we can get to mindfulness as well. Like one of the things that we were doing just before COVID hit, I was in the Midwest to work with a university in Iowa because they have a great population of meditators in this one place in Iowa in the United States. And that's very convenient for us, right? You've got 2,000 people all in one spot who are all interested in this. And, they're willing to, a bunch of them are willing to let you put your device on their head or on their neck or wherever, right? And so one of the things that we noticed of that is that we went from stimulating their brain to stimulating them on the neck, stimulating their vagus nerve, sort of right in this area here, with the same device that we used for the brain. And there's a lot of stuff in here, right? So you got to kind of, it's tough to kind of hit that one thing, but you can do it with a really focused instrument like ours. Ordinarily, when you think about ultrasound, you think about like, oh, I'm going in, I'm having a baby, they're doing ultrasound, but that is really like this very wide beam that sort of comes out, bounces off something and comes back, right? This is a very, very, very tiny, very precise beam, probably like about probably even smaller than that, really, in terms of its actual focal point. And so it allows you to hit these really very precise spots. So it's a big difference in terms of these different types of ultrasound. And one of the things that happened with the vagus nerve that was really interesting, we did see some of the stuff like, we're working towards being able to do the neck instead of the brain, because we have had people get into Satori, non-duality type states from that. But something that is really super common as we're in the early stages of the neck is the mindfulness type stuff, is the Vipassana type stuff. We'll put it on someone's neck and they'll be like, wow, I feel like I'm at the end of a 5-day meditation retreat from your, 10 minutes of putting that thing on my neck or whatever. And so we think it's going to be great for those people too, even though that's not really our research focus, just because, if you can start on day 5, right, and then go from there, it's like being able to double up what if you were to take a 7-day retreat and you were to have this on day 1, 2, and 3 or something? It might be the equivalent of a 30-day retreat or a 60-day retreat or something, right, with compounding effects and things like that. For some people, it's that very deep Satori experience there. For other people, it's a very much a mindfulness type of experience. And so, all of these things are going to be frequency dependent. We're all working on the various frequencies and duration lengths of stimulation and what control it and stuff like that. And so Shinzen Young, for instance, when he was doing that, one of the things that he said now publicly about this, so I can talk a little bit more about it, is he's basically said, that stimulation, that repeated stimulation over a course of, a few weeks, say, several weeks, every few days or so, basically, took him to a deeper place in his practice than 50 years of meditation had, which is incredible. Here's one of the world's great meditation masters in the West, and we've heard that from other great meditation masters in the West as well. And it's just going to be a phenomenal game changer, really, in medicine as well as things like what we do.
I see. Well, last year you said you're going to work on 3 fronts. One is furthering your research. I guess that's what you've been doing. But secondly, you said you are trying to get more data, and you are talking with fitness studio in Beijing to get more data. And the third one is you wanna talk with manufacturers because you wanna mass produce your product so that the product is going to be available, the cheaper for regular people. And so what were happening in these 2 fronts, the gathering data and also talking to manufacturers?
Yeah, COVID ground, a lot of that to a halt for a while, even the manufacturers, because a lot of the manufacturers, had to shut down really their businesses as well. And so we've been kind of delayed, like everybody has, to some degree in COVID, but it doesn't bother me that much because we've got a good sense of where this is going, right? The thing that we're going to do next once COVID lifts, because we have been able to make a lot of progress, even through COVID, there's still people that are always around you and we really feel like we're confidently at a point where we'll be able to do meditation retreats. Why start on day 1 if you don't have to start on day 1, right? Why not start on day 5 and have day 1 be day 6, right? And day 2 be day 7 effectively. And so a lot of the advances in research that we've been able to do this year have moved in that direction. And then the other thing that shifted the manufacturing thing is that we're now no longer convinced that we're needing the same device that we needed, at the TransTech Conference in 2019, which was, this thing that you put on the head and that you precisely target the brain with. And we were working on towards all kinds of stuff where you can use your iPhone to, get an accurate 3D rendering of you and then, tell you where to put the thing. Maybe some infrared trackers that the iPhone can kind of pick up on to help you sort of guide it in, very much like we do in a lab, but in a simpler level so that you don't need a neuroscientist there. And, we're working on all the safety issues so people couldn't just keep hitting the button. They couldn't overdo themselves and, hurt themselves or anything like that. But now we think that there's this tremendous power in the neck. And so, you can measure it in things like changes in heart rate variability that occur and stuff like that. And so that is the great thing about that is that those devices are more or less already approved by regulatory agencies around the world, including our own FDA. And so in theory, you could sort of get them to market much easier and much more faster if you can start with that type of device. They're dirt cheap to manufacture. They're already being produced in mass, basically, in places like China, right? And so you could get some just slight changes made to maybe make them a little bit more focal instead of that broad sweeping. But people are sticking the broad sweeping on their necks all the time, right? It's done for muscle relaxation, actually. That's what those devices are for. And realistically, you just need the right signal to sweep across it. It doesn't have to be a little pinpoint. It could be the broad signal that sweeps across, that sweeps back, right? And so we think that there's actually been, there's a lot more possibility to get this to people in mass much more rapidly now because of during this COVID thing and how we've sort of hit upon this vagus nerve thing. And all of that. We've got the parameters basically figured out. We have great success when we try this on people. And so I think that's, that's very exciting.
Great. And there's a lot of material already, so I want to stop right here. But before that, do you want to add anything? Anything you want to say?
No, this is great. I love seeing you. It's always so great to see you. You're so awesome. I appreciate you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.